Welcome to this recorded video for evaluators on holding stress-free evaluations. Our presenter today is Karen Donnick. Go ahead, Karen.
Hi everyone, I'm Karen Donnick. I'm a fellow pet partner evaluator, and I'm hoping to share with you today some strategies that will help your evaluations become stress-free. The objectives for this session are to assist you in finding your evaluation's location, what to consider considering space, suggestions on where to advertise, how to schedule effectively, planning for your evaluations including volunteers, how to effectively prepare the teams for their evaluation, and recommendations for post-evaluations. Finding the perfect place to hold evaluations can be tough. Recently, my favorite place to use for testing increased their rent from $20 to $100. I was frantic to find a new affordable location. Where to look? First, ask where you volunteer if they have any room available. Check with your local Boy Scout troop. They may have a scout hall. Churches might have meeting rooms or classroom space. Some veterans of foreign wars own buildings, and they usually are willing to rent or allow nonprofits to use them for free. Organizations such as the Lions, Elks, Eagles, Masons, American Legion, just to name a few, may be willing to let you use their space. Libraries may have reading rooms large enough for an evaluation. Check with the assisted living facilities, schools, and community colleges and universities. County buildings may have unused conference rooms. Some public works and utilities provide meeting rooms free for nonprofits. And the next time those Boy Scouts come by selling popcorn or Girl Scouts come by selling cookies, ask them who their leader is and make a phone call to see if they have any space available for you. There are many online resources available, some with interactive maps to search for locations to evaluate teams. For example, this map is created by 501 Commons. It's a nonprofit whose mission is to help other nonprofit organizations here in Washington State. Some places are concerned about the safety of having animals in their space. You may have to use convincing arguments to sell the pet partner evaluations. Fill out a Team Evaluator indemnity form, otherwise known as the Hold Harmless, from the Pet Partner website in the resource library. Insert the name of the group, organization, or facility, and show it to the people who manage the space. Pet Partner insurance does not cover the use of the space. It helps to stress that there will be no contact with untested teams. Let them know that Pet Partners covers you with a $2 million insurance policy, and inform them that all teams must show proof of rabies shots and that they have taken a Pet Partners Handlers course. If you have enough volunteers, you could offer to escort the teams while on the premises. Educate them about the good work that Pet Partners performs in the community with visits to hospitals, schools, and nursing homes. Share some personal stories, if you have any, about the benefits of visiting therapy animals and teams. If the facility doesn't have any rooms available, don't give up. Ask them if they know where there might be other spaces available. Once you think you have found a space to test, visit the location. View the space and make sure it will meet your needs. An added bonus would be a space that would have Wi-Fi capabilities. Ask if you can have the room the day before testing so that you can set the stage beforehand. If the day before is not available, ask for an hour before your evaluations are to begin. Remember the layout of the testing area. Make sure you have enough room for the out for the walk exercise and for the neutral dog team to enter and exit without complications. Use your 10-foot leash to measure distances. It'll save you from having to take a tape measure along. Walk outside the building. See if there's an area that can be used for the team to exercise their needs. Is the building accessible for handicap or to accommodate special teams such as miniature horses or llamas? Keep in mind who you will be testing, take pictures of the layout of the area, and plan accordingly. What lies in wait as a potential distraction? Walk through the inside of the building looking for possible distractions. Study the floor surface. If the floor is slippery, the pets may slip a little. Sometimes this gives the appearance of having a tight lead. Consider this and try not to grade harshly for the team adapting to the environment. Check the windows and the lightings. Are the windows floor to ceiling with distractions outside? Is the lighting adequate? Does the neutral dog have many dog tags that clatter and announce their presence? I have a funny story here. I thought I'd taken care of all the distractions. The exercise had been going well. Suddenly from the other room, where the neutral large dog had been stage waiting, comes the sound of loud lapping. He was taking a drink. Are you going to be evaluating any animals other than dogs and cats? You may want to schedule evaluations for the other domestic animals at the end of the day to keep the distracting smells to a minimum. Place testing in progress signs on the doors to prevent teams from walking in on a test. If possible, have the check-in area separate from the testing area. There are several choices of signs to download and print from the Pet Partner website under Evaluator Resources. Caution your volunteers not to wear fragrances, dangling jewelry, and to turn off their cell phones, and stage your cell phone at the check-in station. Use the Pet Partner calendar to schedule and advertise your upcoming evaluations. Familiarize yourself with the calendar through the many excellent links in the resource library online through Pet Partners. Keep a record of the teams that you previously tested and contact them if the registration will expire soon. Sign up through Pet Partners for the Volunteer Leader Forum or for evaluators and instructors. This forum will serve as a valuable resource should you develop any complications with your scheduled evaluations. Ask to place a flyer in your local Humane Society, pet supply stores, and pet training areas. Schedule the evaluations. Time is important to the teams that you're evaluating. They spent much time training their pet and taking the team handler course. They may have traveled a great distance to your evaluation. You've taken the time to find a place and to prepare for the evaluations. Don't rush through the tests. Here are some time savers. Pre-stage the paperwork. Write the date to be tested. Write the handlers and pets' names on all of the pages. Fill in the evaluator's ID number, expiration date, and the date of the evaluation. Stack the filled out paperwork in the order of the teams scheduled to be evaluated. Pre-staging the paperwork will save you time that can be spent at the end of the evaluation going over the results of the test and matrix. You may want to schedule an hour before the evaluations to set up for the day. Review the paperwork and supplies, orient the volunteers, and take a practice run through a mock evaluation. This is something that I do every time. I offer my practice runs to individuals who will want to take an evaluation at a future date. I love spreadsheets, such as Microsoft Excel. They allow me to organize the information that I need, and they are a way to keep track of past evaluations. You can put the same information in a notebook if you're unfamiliar with spreadsheets. The calendar online with Pet Partners has a wonderful feature that will import the class roster to Excel. It will also allow you to print a class sign-in sheet and completed evaluation certificates. I pre-print the evaluation certificates, and if they don't pass, not a problem, they're thrown away. Planning. The information that I include on my spreadsheet are contact information for the team being evaluated, the breed of the animal. This gives me a heads up if the animal will be large or small. Physical address as well as email, age of the pet. This is important because it ensures that the pet is old enough. The length of the time that the pet has lived in the home. Again, this information reassures that they meet the requirements to become pet partners. And I have notes if they are a renewal or a new team and dates in which I contacted them. Teams who travel any distance to the evaluations may need to be placed on the schedule to accommodate their travel time. Those who travel with the potential for delay, by ferry or train for example, might be placed in a time slot that could become flexible, such as before lunch or at the end of the day. How many teams to schedule for testing may depend on how long you have use of the facility. You may want to recover the expense for the facility rental and lunch for the volunteers. I would schedule no more than 10 teams at one evaluation. If you have more than 4 teams scheduled for the day, you should have 2 neutral dog volunteer teams. Evaluating species other than dogs and cats. All animals have a scent. Try to organize your evaluations by having species clumped together. Start with dogs, then cats, and end of day, if realistic, with other species. Contact pet partners early and let them know that you will be evaluating an animal other than dogs and cats. Make sure you have the most current score sheet and animal behavior guide available in the resource library. Send by email a copy of the species behavior packet, if available, to the volunteers to help them recognize stress in the animals. After all, because you are familiar with the species doesn't mean that your volunteers are. Give your volunteers an opportunity to observe and not participate if they are uncomfortable. Remember, safety first. Make sure you have the cell phone number of the registered team so you can contact them if they are late or becoming a no-show. Keep notes for your records of conversations and concerns. Record the volunteer information, either contact information, enter the contact information, as well as assign duties in your spreadsheet or notebook. Print out the spreadsheet with contact information to use at the check-in table. This information helps the check-in volunteer know who's coming, what their animal is, when they are scheduled, and if they are a new or renewal team. The spreadsheet or notebook is also a good record of the event, who participated as volunteers, and what their assignment was. The volunteer information comes in handy if one of your volunteers wants to become an evaluator in the future. I also place the point of contact for the venue on my spreadsheet in case a problem comes up, like locked doors or someone else using the space. And don't forget the excellent feature on the evaluator calendar under the class administration portion, where you can select the class printing option and print the generic sign-in sheet. I call my volunteers my team, and I issue them evaluator assistant buttons to wear. The button identifies them as legitimate members of the evaluating team and helps them to feel more valued. Pet Partners offers patches on their website store. You can buy one of those, place a safety pin on the back of the patch, and it becomes a good identifier for the evaluator assistants as well, and makes a great thank you gift. Another good purchase as a thank you to the neutral dog team is a dog pet tag silencer. It makes a nice gift and doubles as a distraction preventative. Now, my eyes can't be everywhere, so I do rely on my volunteers to let me know if there's anything of concern that they witness. My ideal volunteer team consists of 6 people. Too much more than that, and they bump into each other. So where do you get your volunteers? Many of us have exhausted family and friends for helping out in our evaluations. If you haven't registered to participate in the Pet Partner Evaluator and Instructor Forum, you may want to do that. That primary forum goal is to provide a collaborative space for pet partner evaluators and instructors to share knowledge about the Pet Partner Therapy Animal Program. Ask for help where you volunteer. Keep in mind that you do not want individuals who are underage or medically fragile to participate. Mixing untested teams with a fragile volunteer is never a good idea. Advertise for volunteers. Download the Evaluator Volunteer Recruitment Flyer from Pet Partners Resource Library. Ask your local library, Humane Society, or pet store if you can post the flyer there. If you belong to a community partner, check with them to see if there are any ambassadors available. Ambassadors are typically supporters of pet partners who don't have a pet but wish to help pet partners. Support your volunteers. Tell them you wouldn't be able to run evaluations without them. Send out emails to communicate before the event to the volunteers. Include the evaluation schedule, the evaluation assistant orientation package, and various animal behavior guides of the species that you will be evaluating. If you have a copy of your script, you can send that to them as well. Let them know what to expect. Be clear in your instructions and use hand cues to support when they are to begin and end an exercise. Make sure that the volunteer that checks in the teams has all the information they need. Print out a certificate of appreciation from the resource library, and if you can afford it, Add a small token of your appreciation. Send thank you notes or emails afterward. Feed them, and they will come. Preparing teams. Contact your teams as soon as you receive the confirmation email from Pet Partners saying you have a registered team for your evaluations. When you import your class roster as a CSV file, a CSV is a comma-separated values file which allows you to save the data in a table or structured format. When you do this, or access your class roster from the Pet Partner Calendar class roster, you can determine how many animals they have registered, their species, and breed. It will also let you know if the handler has completed the handler's course or if the registration is a renewal. It does not tell you the age of the animal or how long it has lived with the handler. To eliminate a not ready status, I always ask the handler for the age of the animal, how long they have lived with them, and if they require any special accommodations for their pet or themselves. Pre-evaluation contact. I have a file on my computer which documents that are compiled from the Pet Partners website that lists helpful hints for both new and renewing teams. I send out these hints about 2 weeks before the evaluation. I also send the teams directions to the evaluation site with a map, list of items to bring, explanation of expected team behavior, information about parking, and where the teams can exercise and relieve themselves beforehand. Give the teams a phone number where they can reach you in case of any problems on evaluation day. Evaluation day jitters. Develop a checklist of supplies to bring. Laminate the list and keep it with your Policies and Procedures Manual. Bring a current copy of the Policies and Procedures Manual with a notebook tucked inside. You will use this notebook to record any team's testing not appropriate and to record any incidents or complaints, noting the who, what, where, and why information to be used to prepare for the online form submitting if necessary. Bring a copy of the photo release form for each team and your camera or cell phone to take pictures for your records. If your phone supports apps, consider a scan app for the completed evaluation score sheet. There are several good free ones on the internet. I use Genius Scan mobile app, and don't forget a water bowl and a disposal waste bags for your animal comfort station. Having a checklist will minimize the potential for forgetting your equipment. Still, what do you do if you forget something? If it's not important to have this item, and if you can't send someone back to get what you forgot, continue with the evaluations. Otherwise, delay and go back and retrieve the item. You will most likely catch up the time, and if you can't do that, then reschedule. I keep an inexpensive backpack packed with most items necessary for the evaluations. Inside, I have my checklist, orange cones, small child soccer size. I have painter's blue tape, it's easy to remove, 2 10-foot leads, one for large dogs and one for small dogs. Make sure the clips on the lead for the small dog will fit a small harness or collar. I keep treats, hand sanitizer, clean sanitized toys for the Leave It test, volunteer buttons, pins, signs, brush, for example, a spare leash, clipboards, and extra pet waste bags. After evaluations, sit down with the team instead of standing next to them and review the paperwork from a relaxed position. Use the comment section on the score sheet to make notes that will help the handler understand why you gave them a certain score. I write positive comments, but I also make notes where the team was a little rough during the exercise. I might make a note on the reaction to neutral dog exercise, for example, such as, the dog is very distracted. I recommend visiting alone. This helps the handler understand which activity led me to put certain recommendations on the score sheet, such as one-on-one work, clients who are not medically fragile, etc. These notes are particularly useful to some teams who are so nervous that they don't remember what you discussed when you reviewed their scores. post-evaluations. Review the team qualification metrics with them so they can see where their team should volunteer. Answer questions. Document the test, taking pictures of the page that gives you the results for your records. You may offer to scan their document if they have no other way, and if you have the time and method available. Before they leave, remind them to complete their online registration as soon as possible. The score sheet expires 90 days from the date evaluated. Become a mentor to these teams. Allow them to contact you in the future if they have any questions about where they should volunteer. Send a follow-up email in about 3 months and ask them how they're doing. I like to take a picture of a new team from my records and I send them a copy. I keep a brag book of the teams that I have evaluated with their pictures. It helps me to remember that particular team and remember to make sure that they sign the photo release form. Let them know that they can find a place to volunteer by accessing the Pet Partner Team Volunteer menu under Find a Volunteer Opportunity on the Pet Partner website. Send information to passing teams about other teams in their area and invite them to assist you in future evaluations. Have you ever had a handler that's angry when they are scored not ready? Will Rogers said people's minds are changed through observation and not through argument. Show the handler where the team scored not ready. Demonstrate, if possible, what they need to do to improve. Do not push the animal or the handler too far. Do not continue with the evaluations. Use the time instead to offer positive feedback. If the handler becomes belligerent, George Bernard Shaw said, "Never wrestle with a pig. You get dirty, and besides, the pig likes it." Thank them for their time and dismiss them for the next team. Clean up after yourself. Empty the trash cans, sweep the floors, remove the tape, turn out the lights, walk up, and leave a good reputation. You want to be welcomed back. Check the Pet Partner website resource library under the Evaluator filter and make sure there's no changes to policy and procedures or to the required forms. If there are any changes, print out new copies. You can recover the expense during one of your evaluations. Search your area for fellow evaluators and collaborate if possible. Join other evaluators in forums by requesting Pet Partner to add you to the Evaluators Instructor Forum. Ask questions, and if you're not sure, contact Pet Partners. Thank you. I hope this has been helpful. Keep calm and prepare well.